Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 264 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin's appearance didn't change much, but he was extremely calm. There were faint lines on his body, but they were not obvious. An extremely powerful aura was coming from his body and filling the stars. As this aura spread out, it set off a huge wave on the rank 6 cultivation planet. Countless cultivators awakened from their cultivation and felt their souls shake. Just as everyone was startled, Wang Lin took a step and ripples appeared under his feet, and he disappeared among the stars. Eufay's expression was gloomy and he clenched his fist. Earlier, when he saw the ripples under Wang Lin's feet, his pupils shrank and he was greatly shocked. Spatial bending. He knew of this spell, but he had not expected this Shumu to already know this spell. It has to be said that very few cultivators he knew could use this spell. It was even more rare for people at the same cultivation level as him. How could this not surprise him? Moreover, the information he received about Shumu never mentioned this at all. He subconsciously spread out his origin energy, causing the surrounding area to collapse, but there was no sign of Shumu. Even when he completely distorted the origin energy in the area, he still couldn't find Shumu. Eufay's expression became even colder, but he immediately understood that this Shumu had escaped. He let out an angry roar as he turned around and locked onto the big-headed boy, who was fighting his avatar. All his killing intent and rage were now redirected to the big-headed boy. He quickly charged toward the big-headed boy. "You master has fled, so let's start with you then." Eufay was extremely angry in his heart, and this anger was very depressing. He was a mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator who let an early-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator escape, and he couldn't even pursue. He hadn't experienced this kind of thing in a long time. The big-headed boy was fighting Eufay's avatar when his scalp felt numb and he almost lost his wits. He couldn't help but scold Wang Lin as he retreated and attempted to escape. However, Eufay was extremely angry, and he instantly closed in. Using his overwhelming mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivation, he pointed with his finger. The 5 blood swords immediately shot toward the big-headed boy. "Die for me!" As Eufay shouted, the 5 blood swords charged forward like 5 early-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivators. Adding the one from before, it was like 6 Nirvana Scryer cultivators attacking the big-headed boy. How could the big-headed boy resist with his current cultivation? The big-headed boy was filled with despair and a crazy idea appeared in his heart. He was about to explode his origin soul. No matter what, he had to destroy an avatar. Just at this moment of life and death, a cold voice came from behind the big-headed boy. "This is my miracle." As the cold voice echoed, the big-headed boy felt his body being grabbed and tossed back by someone, allowing him to escape danger. Wang Lin walked out from the void. His expression was cold as he faced the 6 blood swords, and he threw a punch. The power behind this punch was even stronger than Tarshan's punches. The roar that came from the fist felt like it was going to shatter space. This caused a series of sonic booms, and the space before Wang Lin fragmented. Cold air came out from the countless cracks, but they had no effect on Wang Lin. If space was like this, then there was no need to talk about the 6 blood swords. Wang Lin's fist landed directly on one of the flying swords. The sword trembled and immediately collapsed with a bang. The fragments were pushed back and then they turned into an avatar that coughed out blood. His eyes were filled with terror and he retreated. Wang Lin's expression was cold and gave off endless coldness, as if he was a piece of never-melting ice. This Eufay's avatars were at the early stage of Nirvana Scryer, and Eufay's real body was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Scryer. With them together, it would be very difficult for Wang Lin to kill Eufay, and even if he won, the price would be very high. Thus, the best choice was for Wang Lin to fuse with his original body. He took a step and arrived next to the avatar that coughed out blood before the other 5 could even react. Without any hesitation, Wang Lin threw a punch. There was a loud bang. It was as if space itself was trembling. The avatar coughed out more blood and numerous clouds of blood mist exploded from its body. After the avatar retreated 10 steps, it collapsed and was completely destroyed. Absolute slaughter. This was a complete and absolute slaughter. After killing one avatar, Wang Lin turned around and walked toward the incoming 5 blood swords. All of this was done in an instant. Wang Lin was so fast that he left behind many after images. This time, his fist landed in the void. Cracking sounds could be heard while a huge crack appeared and tore through space like a dragon. One of the blood swords flashed and shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't even look at it while his right hand reached out. The blood sword trembled and wanted to struggle, but it was caught by Wang Lin. He mercilessly crushed it. The second blood sword collapsed with a bang and was about to escape, but countless lightning bolts gathered under Wang Lin's gaze. Countless bolts of thunder smashed into the avatar and popping sounds came from its body. The avatar collapsed and died. At this moment, the remaining 4 blood swords closed in and suddenly landed on Wang Lin. There was sound of metals colliding as the swords hit Wang Lin's body. A powerful rebound force came from Wang Lin, knocking the 4 swords back, and they trembled violently. This scene stunned the big-headed boy. When he looked at the both familiar and unfamiliar Wang Lin, there was only terror in his eyes. The flying swords couldn't hurt his body. The big-headed boy wasn't the only one that was shocked, there was also Eufay. For the first time, his expression changed, and it was a big change. Everything that happened was too fast and caught him unprepared. In almost the blink of an eye, 2 of his avatars had collapsed, and this set off a monstrous wave in his heart. He was about to charge out when Wang Lin suddenly turned around and let out a roar. Roar? This roar was the roar of an ancient god. It had been a very long time since the voice of the ancient god had existed in this world. Now that it suddenly appeared, it was as if the true voice that could split the heavens had appeared. Before this roar of an ancient god, even the heavens' thunder had to tremble, and the starry sky itself had to bow because he was an ancient god. Countless years ago, this world was filled with ancient gods. The roar of the ancient god released an ancient aura into the world. All creatures must yield to the roar of the ancient god, and all power will disintegrate. This roar was several times more violent than thunder. What is thunder before this roar? This roar was filled with endless force, and it created a storm that swept the area. Eufay had just lifted his feet when the ancient god roar hit him. A power that made his mind tremble suddenly charged at him. His mind was in shock and he quickly retreated. It was as if he would be torn apart if he didn't retreat. His face was pale. In his eyes, Wang Lin was like an angry ancient beast that gave off such a powerful aura that he had to retreat. The origin energy inside his body cycled rapidly without his control. It was as if it would immediately collapse and he would die if it stopped. At this moment, his ears buzzed and he was isolated from the world. He could only hear his own heartbeat rapidly accelerating in his ears. In the end, his heart was beating so fast that the beats were connected. His eyes were filled with fear. This fear came from the soul, the fear toward the ancient gods. For the first time, Eufay felt fear. At the start, there was only a sliver of fear, but a moment later, it filled his mind. The big-headed boy's face turned pale. His mind trembled under the roar of the ancient god. He now had a celestial origin, so he was a celestial, but at this moment, he had the illusion that he was merely an ant. There was also Lei Ji, and his body trembled. There was a will that roared in Lei Ji's heart. It was like a servant that had met his true master. He couldn't help but kneel and obediently listen to Wang Lin's orders. This was the first time he had felt this kind of feeling. Although he was shocked by the awe he felt, he didn't reject it. Rather, he felt a sense of familiarity. If these people were like this, then there was no need to mention the 4 flying swords near Wang Lin. The indescribable impact of the roar caused the world to change colors and space itself to collapse. Those 4 flying swords all exploded. While they collapsed, countless fragments were pushed back and turned into 4 avatars. Each of those 4 avatars had Nirvana Scryer cultivation, but the moment they appeared, they were hit by the impact of the roar of the ancient god once more. As if a powerful wind containing a destructive force had blown by, the 4 avatars immediately collapsed and dissipated. They were completely dead. Wang Lin took a step. Ripples appeared under his feet and he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was next to Tarshan, who was facing Eufay's last avatar. The last avatar was also so shocked that it stopped attacking and was retreating, but how could it compare to Wang Lin? The moment Wang Lin appeared, his two fingers formed a sword and pressed down. Endless thunder came from all directions and the yin and yang fishes appeared as well. When his fingers landed, the last avatar exploded. Wang Lin only took several breaths of time to kill the 7 avatars one after the other, but the shock he brought was unimaginable. Wang Lin's expression was cold as he looked at the pale-faced Eufay not far away and coldly said, "This is the miracle I'm giving you. Are you satisfied?" Eufay's eyes revealed terror. He could see that this Shumu's cultivation was extremely strange. Although Shumu's cultivation level was only early-stage Nirvana Scryer, his physical body was strong enough to beat the treasures he refined with his avatars. This made his mind tremble. What made him lose his wit was that the roar just now had shaken the 4 avatars to death. Even he felt an irresistible sense of fear. At this moment, he no longer had the courage to keep fighting. His body flickered and he coughed out a large mouthful of blood. Then he entered the blood and fled far away. As he escaped, the stone he was standing on suddenly collapsed and a large amount of killing intent lashed out. This incredible impact attempted to stop anyone from chasing Eufay. Wang Lin's expression was cold as his hand formed a seal and pointed up. A gust of wind blew out like crazy and blew away the force from the stone. He then took a step and chased after Eufay. Eufay was too fast. Blood escape was a survival skill that one used while injuring themselves. He panicked and no longer cared, he only wanted to quickly escape. However, when he was tens of thousands of kilometers away, a ripple appeared before him. Wang Lin walked out and punched him in the face. This punch landed in the void and caused the surrounding space to shatter. The world's origin energy went crazy and Eufay's body trembled and he coughed out blood. The blood light around him disappeared and he was forced out from his blood escape. With a hint of madness, Eufay formed a seal and a ray of blood light flew out from his forehead. This red light was extremely bright, and it gave off a powerful evil aura. As Eufay shouted, it turned into a ray of sword energy 100 feet long and shot toward Wang Lin. This was Eufay's life treasure. Now that he was forced to the limit, he used it without any hesitation. After throwing out his life treasure, his hand formed another seal and the blood before him trembled and turned into a 1,000-foot-long python. The python opened its jaws and attempted to devour Wang Lin. After doing all this, he still felt uneasy, so he simply slapped his bag of holding and a large amount of treasures flew out. As various flashes of light came from the treasures, he spat out essence blood that landed on all the treasures, and he shouted, "Kill!" The magic treasures before him charged out toward Wang Lin. Eufay's face was a bit pale, but he retreated without hesitation. Wang Lin's expression was indifferent. When facing the big sword formed by Eufay's life treasure, rich spiritual energy came out from his body. Then Wang Lin's body began to grow like crazy and became a giant hundreds of feet tall. This large body gave off an ancient and powerful aura. He didn't dodge, he allowed the large sword to slam into him. Wang Lin didn't even pause, it was the sword that collapsed. If Wang Lin hadn't fused, he wouldn't have dared to face the treasures of a mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator. However, now that he had fused with his original body, he was able to completely resist the treasures of a mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator. In particular, the powerful origin energy coming from his body knocked away all the incoming treasures. As for the python following closely after the sword, it still tried to devour Wang Lin. Wang Lin was indifferent as he grabbed the python's head and directly crushed it. Just as Wang Lin was about to throw it away, he was surprised to find that the python had a soul. Without hesitation, the underworld river appeared and resentment filled the area. He threw the python into the underworld river and then waved his hand. All the incoming treasures collapsed. Since his life treasure was destroyed, the escaping Eufay coughed out a mouthful of blood and his face became even more pale. He clenched his teeth and his eyes became filled with resolve. While still enduring the pain, he tore off his left arm and a large amount of blood sprayed out. His face was deathly pale as he muttered some complex spell. Then his left arm suddenly collapsed and formed a vortex gate. Eufay directly stepped into the vortex. Shumu, of the Soul Killer duo, there is another beside me. Although your body is strong, under the spells of a Soul Killer, you will still die. Eufay's eyes revealed a monstrous hatred as he walked into the vortex. Seeing that Eufay was about to escape, Wang Lin's eyes became filled with killing intent. His personality had always been, if they don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. If they mess with me, I'll kill them. At this moment, Eufay's body had already entered the vortex. The vortex rapidly rotated and became smaller and smaller. It was about to disappear completely. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and the hem of a furnace appeared around him. The illusion of a furnace hundreds of feet large appeared before Wang Lin. Ancient God Furnace. When Wang Lin's avatar used it, he had to use the seal left by greed. However, after fusing with his original body, his control over it was much stronger. Position shift. In an instant, a violent echo came from inside the ancient God Furnace. The shrinking vortex seemed to be grabbed by a pair of giant invisible hands and was pulled toward Wang Lin. Similarly, Wang Lin's body moved forward in a mysterious manner. The moment the two crossed, Wang Lin's two fingers formed a sword that contained a heavenly chop, heavenly thunder, and the yin and yang fishes. At the same time, the ancient god's powerful body and the spell that could shatter anything was also contained inside these two fingers. Wang Lin directly pointed his two fingers mercilessly through the shrinking vortex. In the slaughter domain of the Alliance star system's 2 sects, 4 temples, and 8 domains, an elliptical vortex suddenly appeared next to one of the buildings that looked like swords stabbed into the ground. A mysterious attracting force came from the vortex and caught the attention of the cultivators in the slaughter domain. Eufay's body stepped out from the vortex. His face was deathly pale and blood was still coming out of his left arm. After he came out, the vortex behind him rapidly shrank. Seeing that he had returned to his familiar slaughter domain, he relaxed, but he was still terrified of what had happened. Now he looked at the tower and was about to speak. However, just at this moment, a very powerful aura came out from the tower like crazy along with an angry roar. Eufay, leave that place! At the same time, a ray of red light came from the high tower and closed in on Eufay, but it was a step too late. The moment he heard that face, Eufay didn't pause and continued to charge out. However, just at that instant, a powerful energy came out from the shrinking vortex before him. It tore through the vortex and 2 fingers suddenly came out from the vortex. These 2 fingers held monstrous killing intent and they suddenly pressed down on Eufay's back. It's Shumu! Eufay coughed out blood and his body was mercilessly thrown forward due to a powerful force. Popping sounds came from his body and large amounts of blood mist came out of his pores. In almost an instant, his entire body collapsed. Not even his origin soul was able to escape from the collapse of his body and was destroyed along with his body. Even his bag of holding was destroyed, and everything inside it flew out. Among these items, there was a branch that quickly retreated and was caught by the 2 fingers that came from the vortex. This scene caused an uproar in the slaughter domain. The red light that flew out from the tower immediately charged toward the 2 fingers. However, as soon as the 2 fingers pressed down, they retreated back into the vortex and the vortex disappeared. An angry roar came out from red light, and in a flash, a dried-up right arm shot out from the red light and went into the dissipating vortex. There was a crackle and the dried-up right arm was able to pull out half a tree branch from the vortex. Shumu! The red light flashed and revealed a person. He was extremely old and had a head of red hair. At this moment, he let out an angry roar. Over the countless years, their slaughter domain had never seen one of their own killed inside their own domain while they were all helpless. This kind of shame was equal to the enemy slaughtering their way into their base. Roars came from the other towers and cultivators filled with killing intent came out. Each of them stared at where Eufay died and they silently pondered. This kind of silence created an unimaginable killing intent that was constantly being suppressed and waiting to explode. The red-haired old man took a deep breath and revealed a grim expression. He waved his sleeves and returned back into the tower. After a long time, a cold voice came out from the tower. "Hunt Shu Mu." As for Wang Lin, he withdrew his fingers and his body slowly shrank and returned back to normal in several breaths of time. If he was going to kill, then he needed to be thorough. Letting the other person go wouldn't stop people from trying to kill him, so he was going for the kill. After pondering for a while, Wang Lin looked at the piece of branch in his hand and put it away. Getting it while killing Eufay was a big risk, and he had great use for this. "This item, it will allow me peace in the western region of the Alliance." Wang Lin's body flickered and disappeared. When he appeared, he was on Lei Ji's back. The big-headed boy was disturbed, but when he saw Wang Lin return, he relaxed and revealed a respectful look. Ta Shan was slightly injured in the battle against Eufay's avatar and was sitting there recovering. Wang Lin sat down on Lei Ji's back and calmly said, "Lei Ji, find me a hidden, uninhabited planet. I want to go into closed-door cultivation." Lei Ji caused a loud rumble as he flew far away into the distance. Lei Ji's large body gave off a powerful pressure as he quickly moved through the western region of the Alliance. Not far away, there were rays of sword energy. It was a group of all-heaven cultivators. The person leading was one of the Earth Celestials. When he first saw Lei Ji's huge body, he became vigilant. Even the cultivators behind him were prepared to face a formidable opponent, and there were flashes of spells. Just as this moment, the leader's eyes narrowed as he saw Wang Lin and the big-headed boy on Lei Ji's back. He gasped, immediately retreated a few steps, and respectfully said, "Greetings, Thunder Celestial." The name, Shu Mu, was illustrious in all heaven, and he had personally witnessed Wang Lin's heroic deeds. He admired Wang Lin a lot, and his admiration was completely sincere. Wang Lin slightly nodded and didn't speak. Lei Ji's speed was very fast, so he quickly flew by these cultivators. It wasn't until Wang Lin was far away that the cultivator looked back with envy and said, "Someone with a mount like that is indeed worthy of being all heaven's Thunder Celestial." He wasn't the only one who envied Wang Lin. The other cultivators all felt admiration and envy toward Wang Lin. As Lei Ji moved forward, they encountered even more all-heaven cultivators. It was obvious that this area was completely occupied by all-heaven. When those cultivators saw Wang Lin, they all became respectful, and when they saw Lei Ji, they were filled with shock and admiration. After Shu Mu appeared, it became known by all heaven cultivators as rumors spread. During this period of time, there were a lot of rumors about Shu Mu. A vast majority of them were that Shu Mu didn't dare to battle or had betrayed them to join the alliance. Shu Ting was happy to hear this and secretly fueled the rumor. The older generation of all-heaven cultivators didn't say anything to stop this. In addition, Wang Lin did disappear first, so the rumors became more and more exaggerated. For example, things like, "Shu Mu is a spy from the Alliance," became more widely believed. Lei Ji's movements caught the attention of a lot of cultivators. A lot of cultivators looked at Wang Lin with respect, but there were also many looking at him with a playful gazes, as if they were waiting to see a good show. A day later, Lei Ji stopped outside an abandoned planet. There wasn't much spiritual energy left in this planet. Even the all-heaven cultivators that occupied it didn't care much and only left several people guarding it. Wang Lin carefully looked at the abandoned planet. This place was indeed remote. Although it was occupied by all-heaven cultivators, it didn't obstruct Wang Lin from doing his closed-door cultivation here. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin stepped off Lei Ji's back and walked toward the abandoned planet. The big-headed boy and Ta Shan immediately followed. As for Lei Ji, his body shrank back to a 30-foot-tall man and followed behind them. When he got near the planet, he heard roars coming from the planet. Although it was abandoned, there was still a large amount of fierce beasts on the planet. These beasts had no intelligence and relied on instinct to survive. There were snakes dozens of feet long and tigers with wings. Those were all very common. The moment Wang Lin landed on the planet, the several cultivators stationed here were awakened from their cultivation. They hesitated for a bit before flying over on rays of sword energy. The place Wang Lin picked was a mountain peak. This mountain was very weird. It was like a finger pointed straight at the sky as if it was going to pierce the sky. While standing on the strange mountain, Tarshan immediately punched the mountain to create a cave. He did this without even waiting for Wang Lin's order. At this moment, several rays of light flew through the sky and the cultivators stationed here closed in. The 5 or 6 people stopped 1,000 feet away and respectfully said, "Greetings, Thunder Celestial." Wang Lin slightly nodded and slowly said, "I need to cultivate a celestial spell here. Don't disturb me." These cultivators quickly nodded before clasping their hands and excusing themselves. After these people left, Wang Lin's right hand formed a seal and annihilation restrictions flew out. As his hand continued to move, Wang Lin placed restrictions everywhere until there were traces of restrictions all over the mountain. After placing the restrictions, Tarshan and the big-headed boy sat down in the distance to guard Wang Lin. Lei Ji also found a place to sit. He had felt his bloodline ability undergo a mysterious change. He was silently pondering and comprehending this change. Wang Lin closed his eyes and the surroundings went completely quiet aside from the occasional roar from the distance. After Wang Lin placed the restrictions, the fierce beasts all left. Although they had no intelligence, they felt that this place was very dangerous. Wang Lin's mind was clear in this relatively quiet atmosphere. The 2 Celestial Emperor celestial spells appeared in his mind. Summon the Rain, Magic Arsenal. Summon the Rain. Once, when Wang Lin used Call the Wind, he accidentally condensed a drop of rain. However, when he tried later, he wasn't able to form it again. After Qing Shui gave him the inheritance, he realized the issue. Call the Wind and Summon the Rain were deeply connected. The 2 could transform into each other and compound together. As he pondered, Wang Lin opened his arms and silently comprehended Summon the Rain. Summon the Rain involved gathering the origin energy of the world for Wang Lin to use and then using the spell to condense said origin energy into rain. Each raindrop contained dense origin energy. It could be said that it was already part of law. While comprehending, large amounts of dark clouds condensed in the sky above Wang Lin. This scene was very spectacular. Looking at the rain, Wang Lin was completely immersed. However, at this moment, the rain seemed to stop and 2 people came from the void. Before the rain could fall on these 2 people, the rain would immediately disappear and turn into large amount of mist. Not a single drop of rain fell on these 2. "Shumu, do you recognize your crime?" A roar came from one of them. This person was an old man. Wang Lin had seen this person before. If Wang Lin remembered correctly, this person was the elder in charge of punishments. Master Flamespark stood beside his person with a gloomy expression as he stared at Wang Lin with a cold gaze. The rain turned into large amount of clouds, as if there was a flame burning, and this made it feel like he gave off unimaginable pressure. It was as if he could use these clouds to make the world collapse with just a thought. What crime? Wang Lin's expression was calm as he looked at the old man. This old man is asking you where you were and what you were doing during the war with the Alliance. You are the Thunder Celestial of the All-Heaven Star System, yet you disappeared before the war. How is that not a crime? Master Flamespark still hadn't spoken, but his expression became colder. Throughout the past few days, his divine sense had been spread out in the All-Heaven territory, and he had been unable to find Wang Lin. As for places that were even further away, he was cautious and didn't dare to carelessly explore there. Wang Lin's expression was still calm as he calmly said, "I went to kill the Alliance Slaughter Domain's killer Eufay." After he spoke, the old man was startled and Master Flamespark's eyes shined. This video will end here.